We are back with part 2 of House on the Rock. I hope you saw the first part of the video. If you haven't yet, go back and check out part 1 on this video. But if you have seen that part, welcome back. I can't wait to show you the rest of House on the Rock. So without further ado, let's dive right in and see where we left off. So we just left the carousel area and we have headed into the mouth of the beast, entering this room that kind of reminds me of the TARDIS from Doctor Who. There's all sorts of steampunk looking gadgets, organ pipes coming out of the walls, people staring from the rafters, and faces on things that probably don't normally have faces. Not to mention there's a ton of percussion instruments, but also check out this gigantic organ. I wish it was playing. It was kind of playing organ music in the air, but I don't think it was from that particular organ. As we go around, we start seeing more bells and things of that nature. This is obviously an insane collection, and look at this chandelier. It's absolutely beautiful. It looks like it's made out of paper lanterns, but I know that's not what it's made out of, because if you look closer, it's not made out of paper lanterns at all. In fact, I walked down lower so we could stand underneath it and take a look up and see just how beautiful it is from below. After gazing into the light for a little bit, we walked past this giant clock that kind of reminded me of the set for Wicked, the musical. And then we went through some double doors that led to an outside area where you could look at this beautiful rock formation, which was pretty much all there really was out here, so we walked up to it to just get a good look at it. But then after walking out, you can also see the infinity room hanging overhead, which was kind of neat. But we decided to walk back in the double doors and continue on through the building to see what else is going on. Also notice this giant pottery thing. It's like a flowery pottery vase with a gecko on it. Those are all along the outside of the building. Heading back in, we ended up back in another street area where they had little shop windows. This one was like a haberdashery. The House on the Rock is just such a unique place because it's full of treasures that you don't see every day. I mean, how often do you see these kind of things? I think this is supposed to be a Laurel and Hardy kind of thing. Not sure. I'm gonna assume that this doll Ferris wheel is the top part of the lower Ferris wheel we saw earlier, but it might be a totally separate one. I can't really tell, but it looks to be attached to it, and it's kind of eerie just having a bunch of dolls spinning around staring at you. Speaking of dolls, we entered the dollhouse rooms where this place was just packed with dollhouses, and it was like eerily lit. It almost looked like an entire neighborhood of dolls. There had to be over 100 dollhouses in this room. I mean, this room just kept going and going. It was a maze of dollhouses and dolls staring back at you through a window. A little bit eerie if you're uncomfortable with dolls. And the dolls weren't the only exciting thing about this place. Once you get past all the doll houses, you enter into a place that, well, feels like home for me. Although it might be the place of nightmares for others if you weren't already scared of the dolls. Ladies and subspecies, welcome to the circus room. And they have all sorts of different circus memorabilia, costumes, signs, sideshow stuff. It's so cool, and we're just at the beginning. If you start walking through, I already see a bunch of clown sculptures and statues. Stuff that I would love to add to my personal collection of circus memorabilia. And look at this, they even have trains. And someone even took the time to make model circuses, which I think is incredible. You don't see models of this scale. And this isn't just one model, it's several models of several circus tents. They have all the different acts set up, so you can see the spectators, the spotlights, the hanging people from the ceiling who are hanging by their teeth. The trapeze artist flying through the air with the safety nets, all handmade. All those strings, all those little wires, all the things that make those circuses look like real circuses. Every little detail was put into this, and it's crazy how good these are. I love these miniature models. The Hagenbark Wallace Circus, the King Brothers Circuses. I mean, they have a whole bunch of different circus signs, and it's just amazing how detailed this is. I can only dream to have a collection like this one day, and I definitely have to come back here because I really love this collection, and I want to research it more, see what kind of pieces are actually out on the market. And if you notice this, we might know the greatest show on Earth, but this sign said the greatest circus on Earth, and this one says the greatest show on Earth. So if you look at that one, greatest show on Earth, and I thought that was interesting. Maybe their motto changed, or maybe it's a knockoff poster. This one boasts the world's largest circus. But this is definitely the world's largest circus collection I've ever seen. And I've just never seen anything like this. They even have the old signs on the side of the tent. It looks like this is a real active circus we're going through. And we're nowhere near done yet. As we get greeted by this clown, we actually enter a circus room that isn't full of miniatures. It's actually full of full-size circus stuff. And here, let me show you what I mean. We first go into this room, which has a bunch of circus tents. But as we make our way further around this maze, you'll start to see more fairy tale stuff. All sorts of miniatures of different kinds. A lot of little wind-up toys. A circus cruise ship and a bench for Caden and Nikki to sit on. But like I said, these miniatures aren't the only part of this room. As we go further past the miniatures, past these highly detailed tents, they're a little bit smaller than the other ones. Past all of this stuff, you're going to zigzag through this hallway. I don't know that that trapeze net is safe. Also, by the way, these wind-up tin clowns, I see them all the time in antique stores. And I've been trying to get my hands on them at the right price. Look at this. This is your funny bone tester. I didn't try this out. I should try this next time I come. But I love the giant clown. That is so cool. But look at this. These are all giant statues. Now, unfortunately, I heard that there was a fire in this room at one point. I believe it was this room. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure it was in this room. And it was pretty recently as well, so most of the animatronics and things in this room were actually turned off. And that's probably they're restoring it due to damages. In fact, I did see a sign that said that, pardon our dust, we are currently fixing things. So maybe next time I come by here, we'll see a fully animated circus room. Who knows? Look at the art, these little tin toys, all these cool little things. One day I will have something like this in my life. Maybe one day I can buy the house on the rock and move in. That would be really cool.
What this little button does. Oh.
There were a bunch of animatronics, however, a lot of them weren't working. They had little buttons on the side of the wall that you could push to watch them animate. And unfortunately, very few of them were operational. But the ones that were, I will definitely show you the ones that were, but I wanted to get some close-ups of these because they're so cool. Even some Disney ones in here. They have a cowboy. And then this room looked so neat. It looks like one of those like one-man band things. There's a whole orchestra in here. None of that was operational. I'm assuming this is due to the fire damage, especially since because below here there's a little sign that says, "Please pardon our appearance." I'm assuming that's because they're fixing things. However, the room was still on display and it looked pretty, like, it looked like it was still in good condition. So I'm hoping that they'll have this back up and running, but for the meantime, we walked around and looked at all the stuff. It still looks crazy cool, even if it's not moving. And look at all the wagon wheels. They're all individually painted with such cool colors. Wagon wheels are beautiful, and these ones were definitely top specimens, and I love how they decorated the room with them. And then look at this. They had life-size statues everywhere, and then they had these miniatures, like I said, surrounding the room. Not many of them animated. I did find one or two that seemed to animate well. So we tried them out. Like this one here was going. So was that one. The little horse was moving here. You can see the little wagon wheel. And then, of course, the boat was sailing. This would have been so cool to see going. I think this was one of those one-man band kind of situations where they all played. And then we have tons of weapons, a bunch of bangers. In here, this was neat. It was a little pocket banger for a prosthetic leg, which I thought was unique. And then look at all these things. These looked hand carved, and that must have taken a ton of time for all the detail. As we go through here, we see some like puppets, really cool puppets, unique. Little chess pieces, some masks. It's really neat to see all this stuff curated in one place, kind of like a museum, but it was also very overwhelming because you could miss so much of the detail. You could probably spend several days in here and still miss 90% of it. This room was full of suits of armor. I believe these are all mostly authentic pieces, and it's crazy to see them. That must have been so heavy to walk around in. I can't imagine that made movement easy for them. And then also they had some armor for animals as well. Lots of crowns and stuff. I actually got to see the actual crown jewels when I was in England. That was pretty neat. So this was cool to see here in Wisconsin, just chilling here. Then, of course, past all of this stuff, we see another part of this carousel going around, and there's chandeliers on the top shelves, and then if you look, there's more dolls sitting and riding this thing around. There was just so much to take in here. If you just look at all of the different individual riders and the different animals on this thing, and then this thing that kind of looks like the top of a cathedral, it's incredible, the detail. I couldn't help but just sit and stare and look at everything. It was a little overwhelming to just see it all and see all the different unique things that would go by on this thing. Dolls sitting on the floor, dolls sitting on animals, and then of course into another doll room full of even more dolls. Look at this clown doll. That actually, I think I had that clown doll. And then up here you get an even bigger view of the carousel. Hopefully I don't get demonetized for the nudity on top. It's art, folks, get over it. And then all of these horses on the wall. Notice the horses are not on the carousel, they are on the wall instead, which is really neat. And then we headed through the general exit just to get out and maybe check out the gift shop, see what kind of stuff they have in store. But before we left, there's just a few more things to see. More doll houses, more horses, and what a great way to end this tour of House on the Rock. I cannot believe some of the things we saw in this video, and some of the things that we saw on our way out of this video. I will never forget this experience, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Make sure, if you're new here, you subscribe to this channel. I'll be putting more videos up through the winter, and as I get them done. But let's pass through the Japanese gardens. Oh, it looks like it is closed for maintenance. That kind of stinks. Maybe we'll have to come out here during summer or springtime and take a look, but I think it is closed right now, and unfortunately that means we can't walk through there and experience that, but we can definitely take a look as we walk by. There's a bunch of walkways and rock waterfalls, and this cool display of novelty telephones. It's another collection that I can't get myself into. We do have that Bugs Bunny phone at my job, which is interesting. There's that Mickey Mouse phone. I see that one a lot. Look at this Bozo phone, though. I definitely need that to add to my phone collection. I have a Ronald McDonald one myself. Then we went over to explore the gift shop. So straight ahead was the gift shop. It had an open sign on it, so we went in. And there was a lot of t-shirts, mugs, and things. I'm more looking for like little postcards. But I did want to show some of the stuff they had in here. There's my sister with some of the toys. They had squid hats. Because, I mean, who doesn't need squid hats? And then those giant pottery things that we saw up front. They actually have small ones as coffee cups. They have jigsaw puzzles, teddy bears, little keychains. But I was looking for the postcards. They had some t-shirts and mugs. We got a mug from here, and there's a cool little snow globe. I grabbed some postcards though on the way out, but I think that was it. That was basically the extent of this trip. Now we head back to the parking lot, see if there's anything else around the edge here. There's this cool spitting dragon that's spitting water out, and some skeletons. Looks like they're getting ready for the dark side, their Halloween display. I'll have to come back one year and check out the Halloween display. There's also some, like, things just kind of sitting in the ground out here. They look like fancy old space-age chairs and stuff. Maybe they're just using it as storage. Maybe it's just an art piece display. Who knows? Thank you so much for watching this two-part series. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for more adventures with us. And also, make sure you hit the like button if you like this video. And I will see you next week.